Hi everyone. If you are here for the ScholarCAST about Road Trip Nation, you are in the right place. I want to thank you all for being here. I know it's a busy time. Some of you have just come back from spring break. Some of you are getting ready for finals. So we really appreciate you taking the time to join us to learn a little bit more about our partner, Road Trip Nation. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we're recording the event just so you know, and we'll be sending out a copy by tomorrow. So look for that as well in case you want to refer back to anything. You'll be able to go back and rewatch if you'd like. You can put in questions into the chat. And we will do our best to answer them if we have time at the end. But we'll probably be really mindful of everybody's time and try to have everything wrapped up by 7 at the latest. So just a quick introduction. I want to tell you a little bit about Road Trip Nation. So Road Trip Nation is a mission-driven nonprofit in storytelling and education. They help students explore careers that will probably be something that they're interested in or that you feel very strong about. So it's a really great career exploration, and they do it in a very interesting way. So I'm going to now hand it over to Brian, and he's going to tell you a little more. Welcome, Brian.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jen. Good to be with everybody. I wish I could see everybody, but I imagine you're all out there. So you got myself and George. George is really the pro here. He's one of our producers at Road Trip Nation. And what we hope to share with you all today is some stories from the road, a little bit about Road Trip Nation, so you get a sense of who we are and where we come from, and then really about the opportunity where we really want y'all to hit the road with us this summer. George is going to share some of the details about the trip. Obviously, there's an application link in the chat here. We hope y'all are motivated enough to hit the road with us this summer. So we'll go through some of the details about the trip. Hopefully, you all have some questions that you can ask George. He's also the producer of this trip, so it's a little bit of a twofer for us. So we are stoked to have George, not just on Road Trip Nation, but joining us today. I'll give you all just a little bit of context to Road Trip Nation. We started Road Trip Nation in a very similar state as probably y'all are in right out of college. We really didn't identify with some of the career paths that we were exposed to. So instead of kind of taking internships upon our senior year, we decided to fund a road trip based on credit card debt. And we bought this old motorhome that was awesome. And it was all beat up. It barely ran, but we decided to paint it green and blue. The paint was on sale at Home Depot. We threw down a blue racing stripe and we hit the road for 3.5 months, where we had already just been super interested in how people get to where they are in life. Like, where were they at when they're our age? And so these questions that we had were kind of top of mind as we transitioning out of college, kind of thinking about what careers we were going to jump into. And we wanted to hear from others who had successfully bridged or who had successfully transitioned from college to career, and kind of what was the life wisdom? What were some of the themes as they reflect back on their journey, like that got them to where they are today? And so anyways, we spent about 3.5 months on the road right after we graduated from college. And little did we know, here I am 24 years later, still putting awesome road trips together. Today, Road Trip Nation is kind of twofold. We're one part media company, where our flagship program is what we're all going to be talking about today. It's really a documentary series where we've been in broadcast partnership with public television for 22 years. Our broadcast reaches 60 million households a year. So it gives us somewhat of a footprint to share just powerful stories of how people define their roads in life. And then we are a education company. And so we have the opportunity and the privilege to share the stories from the road in different ways. We reach about just over 16 million learners a year through our education platforms. But really for us, our mission, we're a nonprofit. So if you all think of a media company, You may think of, more of a production company out of LA or something like that. We are based in Southern California, but we are a nonprofit, mission-driven organization. There's just about 100 of us at Roadtrip Nation. So we're not super big, but we're also not like super small either. We feel like we're probably just about the right size to continue to drive Roadtrip Nation year in and year out. But honestly, like our biggest motivator, our mission is all about empowering people to find their roads in life. And we do that primarily through different road trip experiences. Today, some of them are more digital, but what we want to share with you all is the road trips that are hosted and that are anchored in our green and blue motorhomes. We travel across the country, and it's really about capturing stories of leaders that we aspire to be like or that we identify with, and just asking them kind of their life lessons. Over the years, we've had opportunities to sit down with folks from the tech industry, folks from just about every sector you can imagine. And then for us, it's all about the power of a story and just having just awesome, unique, transformative experiences that are really based on your interests. So if you all are here and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do, or maybe you don't necessarily see how the majors or degrees, et cetera, are going to apply in the workforce. The one element that we have found over the years is you got to follow your interests, like where your interests lie. Usually we've been able to see connections to careers and to different pathways. And so for us at Road Trip Nation, our whole methodology is based on what excites you, like what are you interested in, like what do you love to do. And what we've learned over the years is that there's just so many different ways to apply that to different careers that and it's something that we've kind of unpacked as well. It's all about just kind of an interest-based approach to building a career and to define your road in life. And so most of our stories, all of our interviews usually stem around some of those interest-based motivations, the interest-based approach to how people have defined their roads, and how that connects to kind of sustainable careers, et cetera. Which is why this whole road trip that we're going to talk about today, that you all have an opportunity to apply to, is all around social and emotional well-being, and interviewing just different people from elements of social awareness and different programs, who folks and leaders in different industries that are committed to ensuring there's resources available, that just not just engage like employment or engage their workforce, but also just for social good. Especially the last handful of years have been so gnarly across all the United States and beyond, that we felt, wow, what a powerful road trip this would be, to have a themed road trip that was totally based on just kind of general well-being and social opportunities, and whatnot. So that's what we'll talk about today. But enough of me. I will pass over to George. He's going to share a little bit about some past road trips that we've done, and a little bit about what the road trips look like on the backside once they're all done and polished. And we'll share some of those stories from the road, and then we'll connect back and talk about the next road trip opportunity that you all can apply to. And please, if y'all have any questions, we're so question driven that, like, if we can have more interaction, the better. So if you all have any questions, or if you've already applied and you're curious about any elements of the road trip, we'll be watching the chat.
Yeah.
George, I'll pass it over to you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And just as you mentioned that, there's two questions in the chat already. I'll just address those as I transition into what I'll be talking about. But Ahmed, this application for mental health and well-being road trip is open currently. It is going to be open until April the 27th. And Mallory, for your question about, I have applied and just curious how long it takes to find out who has been chosen. And is there more than one round of choices? So Mallory, thank you first of all for applying. We look forward to looking at your application. So when the application closes on the 27th, we'll then kind of digress and debrief a little bit and find out, to set up some interviews with people. So you'll probably be knowing within the next like after the 27th. It'll probably take about maybe three weeks or 3 to 4 weeks, I would say, for you to find out. So just bear with us, but thank you so much for applying. And that again, that application is open until the 27th. Um, One of the things that brought me to Road Trip was, as a producer here, is just being able to help folks be able to fulfill their passion and their purposes, and getting in front of these leaders, having the opportunity to talk to people that are advanced in their career path or advanced in their areas of life further than what you may be, and allowing you to ask those questions. And those questions can include, like, how did you get to where you are? What obstacles have you overcome to get there? Was your road linear or was it zigzaggy? All those questions that we kind of have inside. And I find myself always like learning from those experiences, as I wish I had this when I was, whatever, X, Y, and Z. So it kind of helped me along my path. And then also just general encouragement is found on these trips, just to encourage you to, one, maybe your path doesn't align with what it is, but you may connect with that leader's story, just in terms of their upbringing was similar to yours, or their obstacle that they've overcome is something that you have seen or someone that you know has overcome. So there's a lot of relatability in these, and they're real stories. They're not scripted, and that's what gives that life and that energy for Road Trip. Is these are people's stories that we're giving a light to shine on them, and then also empowerment happens. I've had road trips where students have come from quietness and kind of blossomed and branched out into awareness of themselves and who they are, finding self-worth in that. And then also maybe a light bulb comes on of a career path that is aligned with yours or cross connects that you may have not even knew was possible. So those kind of opportunities we want to bring you to. And like Brian said, this mental health and well-being being on the forefront of the minds right now, I think is a very rich time to really tap into that. And for this being a national trip, you'll be able to kind of meet a diversity of settings for where we'll be finding leaders. And that'll give you the opportunity to like really dive into different levels of innovation and technology, and then also holistic ways of mental health and just self-care overall as well. So, um, okay, I see Mallory's question about wanting to resubmit and add more. Definitely feel free to do that. But yes, we're just excited to have the opportunity to talk with you today, a little bit more about it. And I'll kind of give you an overview. This is a trip that's fueled by the Lisa Stone Pfizer Family Foundation, Lululemon, and Pinterest. And this is one of those rare times where we've had three partners kind of come together, because that's how much they care about this trip and this theme, to help bring it about. So we partner with them on that, and this will be filming in August of 2025. It's going to be a national trip, like I mentioned, so multi-state trip. You'll be doing at least 12 leader interviews. So again, be very diverse around that. And one of the things we try to do, since it is a video concept, we try to have moments of hands-on opportunity. We did a trip that was passed across South Kansas, and they were able to do some art therapy and whipped cream and kind of therapeutic ways, and like learning how to do that. And then we've had trips where people have worked with stunt drivers from the Fast and the Furious franchise, where they got to do some hands-on crafting and things like that. And one of those opportunities led to a mentorship and internship opportunity later on. So we have a wide variety of themes, and I'll be showing you a trailer and one of our launch pages of that trip, just so you can kind of see some of the great content that's available to you even right now, just going on roadtripnation.com. And we have a watch page, and we have all of our documentaries there. Um, so one of the benefits for this trip, on top of meeting these wide range of people, you'll also be meeting a diverse group of road trippers. We call those road trippers people who've applied for the trip and going on this opportunity. We try to match up personalities interests and things like that. So not only will you be learning from leaders who are the people you'll be interviewing, you'll also be learning from each other and then a bonding experience. And our director on this one is Andrew Johnson, and he's just really great at nurturing that environment and bringing people together. And then also making sure that your elements and your uniqueness isn't lost in the story as well. And one of the great things we do at Road Trip is we make sure that you're involved and present in the process as much as possible. So when we're doing the leader brainstorming, you'll believe that you definitely will have the opportunity to help cast that lot on like leaders that you're interested in, and we'll divvy through that. Yeah, this opportunity, I believe, is Aquisha or Keisha. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. This is for Gen Z and up. So our age range is typically 18 to 24, but if you're a little older than that and you still match up, we're okay with having that opportunity to talk with you and making sure that it's a fit for you. So it's not just for Gen Z. People outside of that can also apply. So definitely don't let that be a hindrance. Um, some other benefits we have. So Road Trip will take care of all travel expenses, so you don't have to worry about how am I going to get a plane ticket to come to California or anything like that. We'll be taking care of that, so it's less hassle off of you. There's also a stipend. It's $200 per day during filming, so you can use that at your discretion. We don't kind of monitor how you're spending that, but most people use it on like food, things like that, and some people save the overage or whatever for themselves. Um, Also, the really cool thing, and this is something that Road Trip has been doing for the last few years, is we offer life coaching for 6 months after the trip. So that's a really cool opportunity, and I always encourage road trippers to take advantage of it because it allows you to have that time one-on-one with the life coach to kind of map out or plan out anything that you want to talk about, and it's confidential with them. So it's not like we're tracking it or trying to find your or getting your business, so to speak. It's just for you and that life coach to have that time, and it's for 6 months, so you can kind of map out a plan for over that 6 months that you might want to accomplish, or an avenue you may have been interested in going to, and then kind of break down those foundational steps of achievement and getting there. And then on this one, we will have a mental health professional support the entire time. So if there's anything that comes up while you're on the road, or even before you get on the road, or even after the trip that you want to talk about that's confidential to you and that professional, you'll have that opportunity. And so that's something that Road Trip offers. And I think it's a really cool thing. And they also give it to the crew while they're out on the road as well, just driving around in an RV, spending that time on the road together. Your mind, wonders and thinks and thoughts and all that good stuff. Sometimes it's like information overload that happens. Some of the road trippers like coming off a trip is saying they've gotten off the trip. There was so much information, like a month later or 2 months later, it just starts like clicking of like, oh, I remember that person said this, or that quote from that leader, or that experience I had at such and such. I remember a road trip where they did some skydiving, and I skydived with them just to spur the moment. So there's a very bonding and connected experience for sure in that. So uh, yeah, those things like that happen. There's a lot, some depending on the climate and where we are. There's opportunities at night for like campfires and like some very enriching talks and bonding opportunities for the crew and the road trippers while they're on the road. So those are some real good character building moments as well. And this is talking about these leader interviews. They give you the opportunity to be able to sit in front of someone for about an hour to 2 hours, talking about what it is in your path that may connect with theirs, how their path may connect with yours, and some encouragement in your current to kind of help you out with that. And usually, if there's any fears about, what do I say, or what, I'm intimidated by this person, or et cetera, we kind of do some interview prep and interview training prior to the trip. So we get people comfortable with that and have kind of more at an ease. And then you also have your other two road trippers to kind of lean on. They're very helpful. And there's a lot of bonding of support in that. And then our crew with Andrew as our director, and we'll have a videographer and a PA, and they are very helpful and loving in that way too, and nurturing in that environment. But just thinking about long term, those are opportunities to help with job interviews, applications, things like that, that you have to have that one-on-one or one-on-more interface. So just kind of thinking about things that are beneficial outside of this, the present, while you're on the road. So
George,
this,
hey George, I
yeah,
wanted to expand on that. And you brought
yeah,
up a
yeah.
point there around just like networking and, kind of just, you know, just kind of the funny cliches that come along networking and, so much of the roots of Road Trip Nation. It's just networking can be kind of weird and funny and kind of quirky and awkward. And for us at Road Trip, capturing and hearing people's stories is such an amazing way to build social capital. And sometimes, this is a principle of Road Trip, which is we really rely on what an amazing experience it is to go around the country with, road trippers, et cetera, and to broaden, expand, or grow just different people in different sectors and different industries. And we lean on social capital because it's not about who you know, but it's amazing, if you can see it, you can be it. And that's just, exposure to different just different people, different leaders, different walks of life, different sectors. It definitely broadens social capital. And so for some of y'all who are considering, life after college, what are the next steps? While there's sometimes isn't a direct line to employment, it is an amazing opportunity to kind of broaden who you know out there and to expand that network and to expand the social capital side of uh, of kind of where you're coming from. So, George, we got a couple questions in the chat around timeline of the application. April 27th is the deadline.
Yes, April 27th is the deadline. So you have a little bit more time to apply coming out of this Zoom call. The road trip itself will be about 2 to 3 weeks, and the start time will be determined based on everyone's availability and schedule. So, like I said, we want you a part of the process as much as possible. So we'll have the team kind of meeting before the trip starts and kind of planning out the route and what states we may want to go to, where leaders are featured at versus other places, and then like activity time. So when we go on a road trip, we don't want to just sit and interview the whole time. We want to make it interactive and fun. So we have, like I said, with the skydiving or campfires, we have opportunities for um, activity to happen. And then with those leader interviews, we try to make sure that there's some, we call it B-roll opportunities. So there's some filming to have some interaction with that. So the road trip start time will still be determined. Um, and then Mallory, is there ways to suggest themes going forward? There definitely is. We have, if you see www, oh no, our email is the roadtrips@roadtripnations.com. That'll be the email you can email if you have like theme ideas for going forward. And then Ryan, I see that you're saying you're excited to apply. The deadline again is going to be April the 27th, and we look forward to your application and possible upcoming interview from that.
So George, let's show a snapshot of one of the
Yeah.
past road trips for y'all, and especially Mallory. We do about 12 road trips a year based on different themes and different opportunities and different funders that come alongside Road Trip Nation. To give y'all a sense of the funding side, we are a nonprofit, so the foundations that support our work, they're underwriters of the documentaries on public television, and they help activate us and mobilize the content in different ways. And so, as you'll see on some of these pages, there'll just be some funder support, et cetera. It's also a great opportunity to meet some of these people that are moving and shaking in these pathways. And so when we talk about mental health and well-being and some of the folks that are associated with this great work that's being done, like I said, it can grow your own social capital and meet new people, but also some of these foundations, and they're just amazing. And the work that they're committed to, it's pretty awesome just to drive awareness to it. So this was a past road trip that we did. Yeah, I'll let George kind of expand on it a little bit, but this will give you all a snapshot if you haven't already seen some of these trailers. If you've got the time, we definitely encourage you to see the full length documentaries, but this is a way for us to kind of share some of the powerful experiences from the road through these road trip profile pages, and each of these have trailers associated. So if you just went to roadtripnation.com/watch, you'll see all of our all the all the documentaries there. So I don't know, George, if there's anything you want to expand on with change makers, but we just wanted to share just a brief trailer with y'all.
Yeah, and then like Brian's saying, when you come to the pages, you get to see like an overview of what it is about. They have some insights from the interviews, and if you click through these tabs, overview, the road trip, and then the road trippers and the route, you'll get the opportunity to kind of see some photos from the road, really cool moments. Then you get to see some cool profiles of the actual road trippers that went on the road. So there should be already some connections or relatability from their stories when you go on here. And then this will give you the route as well. And it kind of give you a breakdown of the miles that they traveled, the days, and the number of interviews. And then we have a breakdown of the interviews there too. And you can click those and get a kind of snapshot of some of the highlights of that interview. But without further ado, I'm going to show you a trailer. It's about 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It may be a little glitchy from the overlay from sharing, but should be able to get the gist of it.
When I first entered college, I needed something creative. Art is such an integral part of like the Black experience, but I didn't think a creative job was something I could pursue because of my lack of money and network.
I'm from East Los Angeles. I had access to technology, but I think I didn't have access to was the idea that I could be someone making technology. It just wasn't something I saw in my community. Like, you can't be what you can't see.
A lot of people don't realize like how little time we have left. In my lifetime, I can see global temperatures decreasing. Like I can see climate change decreasing. I want to help the planet. But my confidence level, it's like, how am I going to do that? You really think you're going to do that? I'm just one person, like I don't even know where to start. Well, we're going to be doing a 3-week road trip.
All up the East Coast, ending in Chicago.
Meeting people who are doing what they love, making an income, and also making an impact.
I think when people think of social impact or social change, they usually think public office. And I think that's a big misconception.
And so we're talking to environmentalists, tech people, creative people who are leaders in their fields and making the change that I hope to one day make myself.
There's like no pretending that things are okay. That's step one.
But every day you should be getting up thinking about how you're going to make a difference and how can you play a role in the future of impact.
I ensure that my mission is to, as I rise up, reach back.
I finally feel now that there's actually a place for me.
The fact that we went on this road trip and did crazy things just represents the idea that the things we do is really limitless.
I'm here for a reason, and I'm jumping in. The changes that I want to make in this world are gonna happen, and I'm not gonna do it alone, which is even cooler.
Yeah, so as you can see that we do, I think because this one's going to be in August, it'll be great to have that experience of like weather days of that cooperating. And then as you can see in this image here, this is what the RV also looks like. So like Brian was saying, if you go to roadtripnation.com /watch, you'll be able to kind of see all of our documentaries. So I'll just show you the watch page. So this will be your watch page at roadtripnation.com watch, and then scroll down for all of our documentaries here. And again, each one will be a different theme. And so something that may pique your interest or maybe align with your major currently, you may be able to find it here. And once you get to that page and you go to the interviews, you can click those leaders to get a little glimpse of their actual interview as well. So yeah, definitely when you have the time, check that out. Get it a little bit more visually what we are.
So we have one question around just number of applicants. It's a great question. We get asked this all the time, and it's actually a question that we don't share the numbers. We don't want this to become a kind of percentage game. And so we're usually not super public about how many applicants we get. What we do say is the right people apply for the right trips. And so we just encourage you to apply. We really believe that we select the right, the right applicants or the right candidates that fit the theme and for the experience ahead. And so we don't really disclose the total number of applicants, only to keep it away from kind of playing the odds and playing the chances. So Mallory, we're excited that you've already you've already jumped in and are in the pool of applicants. And so, and like George said, we really are super excited. Look, I've known Steve Laughlin, your president and founder of NSCS, for years. I mean, ever since I was probably in college. Just after college, I met Steve, and an area that we wanted to come, a reason we wanted to just be in front of you all with NSCS is not just the credentials that you all bring and your intent and your motivation of going through school and how you apply to academics, but this is such a powerful bolt-on experience to the academic experience. When we interviewed Howard Schultz on our first road trip in 2001, he was a chairman and founder of Starbucks Coffee Company. And he's like, a resume is powerful. A resume is important. GPAs are important. But he's like, it's life experiences that give context to all of that. And the more of those experiences that you have to add color and to add flavor and to add the specialness to your resume, I mean, that's what it's about. And for this road trip to hit in the summer, I mean, it's like, that's where we really felt moved to bring this through the NSCS network and to engage you all with this opportunity. Is that some of our road trips just aren't during the summer. They're in different times of year and they're in different frameworks and formats. But for us to be able to have an opportunity to go across the country in one of our motorhomes, we just felt, this will be great for NSCS. So that's where we were motivated to show up here and for Jen to provide an opportunity to share it with you all. It's really awesome, and we're very grateful for it. So that was a little bit of our history. And look, like I said, I've been around with road trips since day one, and we've had many NSCS members join us on road trips over the years. So I've had the chance to come alongside a lot of other NSCS members, and it's been an awesome partnership over the years. So we are definitely not new to the NSCS world, and so we definitely encourage you all to apply.
Yeah, I see another message from, I believe, Ashana Gray, that you're a millennial. But it fit all the criteria? It's a major factor at all? No, it's not a major factor at all. We encourage millennials, Gen Zs, and all the in-betweens to apply for this one. I think there's an opportunity there for connectivity with leaders, and then also with diversity within our road trippers themselves as well, too. So definitely okay to have applied, even though you're a millennial.
And when you all apply too, please mention NSCS, whether it's in your email signature or whether it's in chapter. Or, I know, George, that during the application process, there's ways for them to share with us that they're NSCS, but we really want to hear who's applying from NSCS. So when there's an opportunity for you all to share that out, we're definitely scrubbing through there to capture that. So Mallory, if that's any incentive of chances or opportunities or how many other folks are joining. So please mention that you're NSCS when y'all are applying.
That was really amazing. So I've been watching from the back, and there was one particular comment or quote that I picked up on. If you can see it, you can be it. I think that is like such an important message, and I think our members were really get so much out of being part of this. I'm so excited. I really hope that we'll be able to get some great applicants over to you guys. So I don't want to keep too much of your time. Do you all have any additional information or questions you want to get out before we kind of close it up today?
And I'll just add, while people are probably thinking of things, like you were saying with that quote, anything we do in life, we'll get more out of it when we're present. And so we just encourage road trippers and people who apply to be present in the process so that you have an ownership stake in it, and that it's more impactful and meaningful and enriching through the experience as well. So that's just something to add.
Wonderful. So I will be sharing the video, like I said, with everybody here on the call. I think this was really helpful to hear from our partner, Roadtrip Nation. You should have received an email, I believe, last week with some information, but we'll be sending out a reminder as we get a little closer to the deadline, just to, encourage you to apply and be a part of this road trip that's happening in the summer. I think it would be really amazing. And I just want to thank Brian and George for giving us their time and thinking of NSCS when they were kind of putting the ideas out there. And I'm so excited about it. I wish I could go and do it. All right. Well, I think we got through all the questions. I'm really excited. Go out there and apply and go road trip. Bye, everyone.
We'll see you on the road.
Thank you all.